Hey everybody, welcome back to the K2N Online Paddle School. We are back here on YouTube, and this week we're looking at and defining what is power in a paddle stroke. Power is a coaching cue that you are going to hear a lot within the paddling world. You want to find more power through your stroke. You want a more powerful stroke. And for many paddlers, when they hear this cue, they end up doing exactly what is necessary to find more power. But taking a little time to define what power actually is can help everybody tap into more powerful strokes. So power is defined by strength times speed. There are two aspects that increase your overall power output. Now, when we hear the word power, we like to think of the strength part, bigger paddle, longer leverages, being more muscular. The strength is the power. But this is only half of the equation. Speed plays a vital role in your ability to create power. A quick, easy visual for that is me flexing all of my muscles and slowly pushing that towards my hand here in a punch. There's no power transfer, right? As I introduce speed into the equation, the amount of power that I create dramatically rises. The difference is the speed in which my hand moves from point A to point B. And you see this a lot when people take paddle strokes. They take strokes and they are very bogged down within their interaction with the water. They are focusing on the strength, big blade, long leverages, and trying to go through poor movement patterns that don't equate to speed. We had a previous video talking about big blades killing your paddle speed. And the whole point of that is paddlers using a tool that is too large, proportionate to their skill level, and every time they interact with the water, they are met with so much resistance that they can't physically move fast. Another great analogy for this would be baseball. If you want to hit the ball out of the park, you take a 2-pound bat and you swing it violently fast to create power. If you were to pick up a 50-pound bat, your ability to create the speed necessary to make that power equation equal a home run is dramatically lower. Looking at the power equation, a 50-pound bat is 25 times more effective than a 2-pound bat when it comes to strength. But now if the speed variable drops too much, your performance drops. And this is very similar to what's happening throughout paddle strokes. If you cannot get the speed of going from the front of the stroke to the back of the stroke in a timely and concise way, your power output drops. One of the contributing factors to this is paddle equipment is always evolving, but most paddle equipment is designed with very high level racers in mind, right? It is the same tool that somebody that has very optimized movement patterns is going to choose. They can create the speed with this tool, but a normal user may not have this strength, coordination, and ability to match their skill. When you give them the same tool, they start to struggle a bit with finding the speed throughout the stroke. The other aspect of this is these ideas do not come inherently. Sometimes when you tell somebody to find more power, they will introduce more speed to try and find that resistance in the water, but most users may not come to that same conclusion. They may end up just trying to flex their muscles more as they complete motion, and yes, they're using more muscles, but it doesn't translate into power output. Understanding what the goal and the objective is, having a tool to mirror that, now you put yourself into a position where you can maximize your power by increasing your speed. So there's a time and a place where you can use a larger paddle to force yourself to work on the strength aspect. But when you're using the tool, you must keep in mind the whole purpose of using a blade that is bigger or longer is to keep trying to use it with a high speed variable. If that paddle slows you down, it trains you to move slowly. And when it's time to bring your power output higher with speed, you are ill-equipped. In many contexts, I implore people to use tools that are smaller to work on the speed and the finesse, because that is the aspect that they typically are lacking in, not the strength side of the equation. And there are many factors that go into the blade shape and sizing, influencing how big and how much leverage you find. And we've talked about that at length in other videos, but in this one, I just wanted to go over how close your bottom hand is to the blade is going to make the blade shallower in the water, and it is also going to reduce the actual length in the water. So with both of these aspects being minimized, your speed output has a chance to go up as your hand is closer to the blade. If my hand is further up, burying the blade deeper gives you more leverages, which makes the blade feel larger, and you have to take a stroke that is now longer because your fulcrum point has increased. These are both aspects that are going to slow down your speed potential. Now that being said, if you can have a longer lever point with a larger blade and find the speed throughout the water, now you're going at an incredibly high speed. You're getting both the strength from the leverages and the speed from optimized movement patterns with good technique. This allows your boat to go very fast. If you are struggling to find the speed and movement in the water, moving your hand closer down to the blade will make any tool feel dramatically smaller. This is the same exact concept with the wing blade or any tool that you're using to grab the water. If your hand is closer to the edge of the blade, this is going to feel smaller. If your hand is all the way up here and you're burying this blade super deep in the water, it's a longer stroke, more leverage, this is going to feel dramatically heavier through the water. So when we talk about speed, the first thing that we think about is cutting corners and cheating the process. We think about reaching less and exiting sooner and taking shorter, weaker strokes, and that is not the case. You are still trying to use all of your rotation and movement to engage with the water pretty far up. The moment the blade tip touches to the moment the blade tip leaves the water, this length stays the same. Your ability to go from point A to point B fast, this is where your power comes from. If you shorten this length in the water, your power is going down because your strength is going down because you're not grabbing the water for as long as you could. If I were to throw a ball and my end goal was to throw it as far as I could, I would try to wind up as much as I could and understand that my follow through is going to be somewhere over here, and I want to get from point A to point B as quick as I can to throw that ball. If I try to increase speed by shortening that range of motion, now my chance of throwing the ball is incredibly limited because I'm limiting my ability to put strength into the equation. So it's a balance of both. Keep the length and the time in the water, but the time that you are in the water, try to introduce speed and your power output will rise. If you've ever been on an ergometer before, a Concept 2 rower, a paddling erg, a skiing erg, when you yank on that chain as hard and as fast as you can, your stroke rate doesn't go to 100 or 200. You are met with this immeasurable amount of resistance. Water is the variable that is going to slow down your actual movement. The attempt of putting speed into the water increases your power output. So don't worry about introducing speed into this equation being something that spirals your stroke rate into an unmanageable number. And this is something you can feel for yourself. Just have your canoe or kayak sitting in place, set up a stroke, and think about where you're going to start the stroke and where you're going to end the stroke, and try to get from point A to point B as fast as you can, and you'll find that you will be met with this really high amount of resistance, and that is you connecting power into the water. The more consistent you can do this stroke to stroke means the higher skill level of a paddler you become. Thank you guys so much for checking out the video. A big shout out to all of our YouTube members. Becoming a YouTube member is $2.99 a month. You get to see these videos almost an entire month early. You can do that right here on YouTube, signing up for the membership. If you need any additional information on paddling, off the water training, race tactics, check out the K2NOnlinePaddleSchool.com today. We have over 300 videos that are designed to help you learn and absorb all of these little minute details that can be the difference in your speed. If you would like me to come to your area and to do a clinic for your community, feel free to reach out anytime. If you can create the group, I will get on a plane and go to your area and teach you guys whatever you want to learn. Surfski, outrigger canoe, OC6, dragon boat, steering an OC6, steering a dragon boat, stand-up paddleboard, you name it, I will come to your area, teach you guys whatever you want to learn. If you would like to come here to Hernando and work one-on-one, feel free to reach out anytime to help schedule that. I coach full-time, meet you any day of the week, and we'll paddle as much as you like. Thank you all so much for the ongoing support, and we'll see you all next week for the next paddle tip video.